Hey guys, Pie Guy Rules here, and I just finished watching the Kids' Choice Awards of 2013. What did I think? Generally, it was pretty good. I was actually very pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed watching it, which I didn't think I would, and it felt very much like it hasn't changed since I last watched it, I guess, some 7-8 years ago. It felt right. It felt very right. But there's a lot of points that I want to talk about. Now, I want to say that this video is just about the show itself. The results will be a separate video coming soon. Talking about the results, kind of analyzing them a little bit, what it means, about what kids like, comparing them to what I thought. Yeah, that'll be its own video. Right now, this is just on the show. And I've taken a lot of notes. Okay, so the first thing at the beginning, they started off with like a little... a weird montage thing of a bunch of memes and stuff where the host guy was going through stuff, and that was okay. There was a Gangnam Style reference, which was like, of course, they have to do that, and it was incredibly random, but it was fun. So let's see, what else? Oh, the opening music number. I'm not a very musical person, I guess you could say. I'm not like up on all the music trends and stuff. But the opening music performance was nice. It was alright. And I like that they had kid impersonators of Pitbull and Xtina, whatever that woman was. I don't know. I saw a tweet that that's what her name was. It's probably pronounced something weird. But anyway, they had little kid impersonators of them going up and dancing, which was cool too, because it's always nice when they incorporate kids, because they don't do it that much, which is kind of understandable, because kids don't do so well, especially live, like on stage like that. So let's see. They had 350 million votes, which was incredibly impressive. That's pretty awesome, especially for a dying network. That's pretty good. But then again, you can vote multiple times, so... I mean, the way some kids are about obsessing over wanting their favorite bands to win, trust me, I saw some of that in the comments. I could see kids voting multiple times. Doesn't necessarily mean 350 million kids actually voted. The show had some pretty all-star commercials, too. I won't go into detail, but there were some really nice ones. Like good movie trailers and stuff. And Nickelodeon had some previews for upcoming things, like the next season of The Fairly Odd Parents, which was cool. It's a night they know a lot of kids are going to be watching, so it's important for them to get good ad revenue and also promotion on their own stuff. Let's see. There's a mustache camera thing, which was a cool idea, where every time this horn went off, they would have a mustache camera, and kids would put on fake mustaches and stuff because they can't grow real ones. And it was cool and cute and stuff. The host kept saying that the floor was slippery. I don't think that was actually planned. I think the floor was genuinely slippery. Let's see, what else? Oh, there was a background there's a few different screens on stage, of course, because they have to show the nominees and stuff. But there was one, like, in the background of the host and the people presenting the awards that was basically like an iPad. Like, there were a bunch of apps and someone scrolling through them and stuff like that. And it got really distracting to see that kind of weird stuff going on in the screen and back. It's one thing if you have a screen and it's just kind of like the Kids' Choice Awards logo that bounces around a little bit or whatever. But the movements were very rapid and very distracting. Like, it's a nice metaphor for how distracted today's youth is with various tablets and whatnot. So that was a little bit distracting. Another problem was the kids. They had I think they usually do this. They've got like the first few. There's a little area where they just let kids stand, and go right up to the stage. And at certain points, the kids were screaming so loud, like those front kids. Maybe there was probably microphones right there that I couldn't actually. I mean, I could hear, but it was really distracting because there's just kids screaming. And it's like, I get, it's for the kids and stuff, but you should maybe not have the microphones that close, or maybe have them a little bit further away, because all the kids watching at home don't want to hear kids screaming nonstop. They want to actually hear the celebrities and stuff. So that was a problem throughout a little bit. I think they fixed it though, because I didn't hear it as much in the second half. The basketball sliming, there was a cool little basketball sliming moment. That was cool. The slimings this year were really good. There was quite a lot of them. It wasn't like that one year where there was almost not a sliming, but Robin Williams saved the day at the very end. No, there was slimings all over. And the one cool one was they had a basketball player and he dunked a ball, and then he got slimed through the hoop, and it didn't it didn't look like he knew that that was going to happen either, which was really cool. He may have known, but it didn't look like he did, which was pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, they shoehorned in one of the votes. The Hunger Games won favorite movie or favorite something, and then they were like, oh, also the book won too. It's like, great, you know, because kids don't care about literature, so let's just kind of tack that on there. The host at one point flubbed. Instead of saying Amazing Spider-Man, he said Amazing Superman. That was definitely not part of it, but minor flubs, it happens. Overall, I was pretty pleased with the host. I still have no clue who he is. He was in, like, Fanboy and Chum Chum, and, like, he was in a few things, but nothing that I would recognize, and not that kids would recognize. And he wasn't promoting any new movie, I don't think, which is really strange for Kids' Choice Awards hosts. But what you gonna do? When Selena Gomez went up because she won something, all the kids screamed. Like, there was so many kids screaming at that point. The kids love her. And the Wizards of Waverly Place did end. I told you guys it ended, and you were like, no, it didn't end. It did end. She said so. I mean, maybe filming ended and they're still airing the final season, but she still said it ended. So, darn Skippy, unless they did another season without her. So, let's see. Oh, so instead of they did it a little better this year. Usually they do, like, over the commercial, right before the commercial, they're like, by the way, you know, X1 favorite X, and then a commercial. This time it was, for all the lesser, you know, categories, it was Lucas Cruikshank and some other kid listing them off. And a few of them I understand why they just kind of quickly listed them off. Like, favorite app, that's fine, you know. No, you're probably not gonna get the app's creators down to the Kids' Choice Awards to accept the award or whatever. But they also did favorite animated movie, favorite video game, and male singer. I thought that those would be a little bit more important, you know, to just kind of shoehorn in there. I think the reason they said was because the people weren't there to accept the award. You know, like Justin Bieber apparently couldn't make it out to the Kids' Choice Awards. Yeah, he couldn't support his fan base. But that brings up an interesting point. If that is the reason why some of these categories kind of get brushed aside as opposed to the other ones that get a huge deal made about them, if it's just because the people aren't there to receive the awards, that's kind of lame. And that's a problem that all award shows have, is that as much as they say, you know, it's about you guys, it's about the voters, it's about the kids, it's about, you know, the fans, in the end, it's a lot about, you know, giving celebrities big egos. It is, and it's less so Kids' Choice Awards than a lot of other award shows. But, you know, things like favorite animated movie, that should have been made a bigger deal, you know? Because when I was a kid, I mean, I didn't care about sports, and I understand some kids do, and it's totally fine they have, like, athletes and stuff, and singers and all sorts of stuff. But, I mean, come on, animated movie? That's right up kids, you know, that's like the bread and butter. That's like cartoon, which I'll get to that, going down my list of notes here. But, you know, it just kind of feels like that would be an important category. Maybe they could brush off, I don't know, favorite something or other, favorite song or something, which I think they might have. They did that too. But I feel like at least that one, and favorite video game. Video games are a big deal. Those could have used a little bit more of attention than they got. But what are you going to do? They do have to cut corners in time somewhere. Let's see. Neil Patrick Harris was awesome. I don't know. I wonder. They didn't actually say what he was from. I guess kids would know him. He was the voice of Spider-Man in a few video games and one of the animated series. Let's see. He was also Prince Gumball, but they wouldn't mention that, of course. There was no representation of Cartoon Network this year. None whatsoever. Which, you know, I mean, it's not that surprising because the only place they would be represented is cartoons, because not their live action stuff. But even still, it was weird, and yeah. But anyway, Neil Patrick Harris did a funny little bit with some other woman. I don't know who she was. And the woman was afraid of getting slimed, and you know, doing a magic trick and stuff. And it's funny because the slime, they had a back slime and like a front slime, and the back slime like completely missed them, and then the front slime got them right in the face. That was awesome. Let's see, and it was great because Neil Patrick Harris was wearing a suit and everything. You know, maybe kids watch How I Met Your Mother. I don't know. Okay, so then there's the Twilight Girl. I'll talk about this more when it comes to actual what won and stuff. But the girl from Twilight won, I think, favorite actress or whatever. She was really cool. I was really surprised. For as much she sucks as an actress, just saying, you know, and as annoying as those movies are and stuff, she seemed like a really cool person. Like a genuinely cool... She mentioned loving Rocco's Modern Life, and she seemed very humble and stuff. Like, she seemed very real. It really surprised me. I guess that just goes to show that, you know, the actors... The characters they portray and their acting does not represent the actual people. So, she gets some props in my book, to be completely honest. Maybe that's a conspiracy. Maybe she was acting poorly to try and get the movies to bomb because she didn't want to be in them anymore. But she couldn't turn down a cash offer. Anyway, they had a cool 360 cam, I guess I should mention, where they take the video cameras or cameras all around in a circle and they take a picture and then they go through them, and it looked cool. They showed those from time to time. Let's see. There was a weird guy in a white suit and a crown that kept, like, standing up, and, like, he was... Whenever they showed the crowd and stuff, you could see him, like, mugging, and I'm like, who is this guy? And apparently, when they went up to claim their award, he's someone from Victorious. I think he's the creepy puppet guy from Victorious. I don't know, I don't watch Victorious. But yeah, he seemed like he was really trying to get the attention of the cameras. Really weird guy. Okay, so... When they got to favorite female songs, and that's another weird thing, is that they kind of, you know, skipped... Actually, I don't know if they did that. Never mind. But during the favorite female songs, they did this thing where during every song this lamb would go up and baa randomly. And I think that's a meme. I think my friends told me that's a meme. That it's a Taylor Swift song, I think, because that was the first one. I think that was the one. That from that song, there's a random part where a goat baas, or a sheep or lamb baas, or whatever it was. And then it happened in the other ones. That was funny. That was genuinely funny. They did do a decent job. Like, they did Gangnam Style, and they did Harlem Shake, but they did a decent job of representing these memes in a way that's not, you know, like, another meme. In a way that shows that they kind of get it. You know, they get that it's played out by now. So let's see. Oh, Katy Perry. Speaking of Katy Perry, okay, that outfit was not appropriate for the Kids' Choice Awards, okay? She wore, it was pretty much like a bra, and then, like, bare midriff, and then, like, a skirt. It was not appropriate. Like, listen, lady, I understand that you have body parts. That's totally fine. But you can wear something that covers them up a little bit better. You don't have to show your cleavage at the Kids' Choice Awards. It's not that kind of award show. Alright? This is Sesame Street all over again. Like, it was seriously... I mean, it stood out as, like, wow, you cannot help but dress provocatively, can you? Because no one else was, you know? Like, it was just very strange. And she even, like, knocked over something, or some kids knocked something over when they were trying to get to her a podium, or maybe her chest knocked something over, because it was sticking out that much. But yeah, that was very weird. And one of the Big Time Rush kids, I think, hugged her on stage and stuff, and it was a little bit awkward just because of how much of her skin was showing. A funny commercial, right? They had a commercial. This is like one of the... They had a few commercials that were like, what? They had a commercial for the BET Awards. I guess maybe it's owned by Viacom, that like, you know, corporate mandate says they have to air this because they want to promote it. But they... Like, the BET Awards is like some adult award show, right? And they were offering tickets, like, they were like, buy your tickets now, and it's just like, okay, you know, this is the Kids' Choice Awards. But the real kicker is that it was like, you must be 18 years old or older to do this. And it's like, really? You think anyone watching this is 18 years or older? I mean, I am. Okay, I guess my point is gone now. But it just seems a bit mean to have a commercial during the Kids' Choice Awards. It's like, here kids, this is an award show specifically made not for you. During the award show specifically made for you. Even when you're watching your award show, you still can't get away from the fact that it's an adult world out there. It was out of place. Of course, there was a SpongeBob reference. The host dressed like him and mentioned him like 6 Ways to Sunday. Another person who read off a bunch of, like, you know, of the secondary awards was Ashley Tisdale, who they announced as Ashley Tisdale from the latest Scary Movie? Really? Okay, that's first of all, the Scary Movie series, that's definitely not a kids movie series at all. And not from Phineas and Ferb, not from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, not from High School Musical. Like, there's a number of things that you could say that she's from that kids would get, and that's much more appropriate. But no, we can't, Phineas and Ferb was even nominated. They can reference Phineas and Ferb. I don't know. That was just weird. Just a minor nitpick, I suppose. The worst part of the show, Kesha. Kesha was awful. I cannot stress enough how horrible she was in just every way. She showed up. Okay, first of all, picking Kesha to do this is a stupid choice, because Kesha she's not a kid singer, and she's not like I get that Pitbull isn't either, but all of her songs are about horrible things that you don't want your teenage daughter doing, and she just seems like and she's not even relevant anymore, I don't think. I thought she I stopped hearing about her, to be honest, especially when Nickelodeon, you have all these big-time rushers and Miranda Cosgrove and Victoria's Girl and all these other famous Nickelodeon singers that are actually a little bit more child-appropriate and a little bit more, better singers, more relevant, that you could have used, but no. Let's go with Kesha. And Kesha's singing is awful. I mean, I know everyone jokes about how she's auto-tuned, but oh my god, she was awful here. I could have sworn they did this where, you lip sync and then they play the thing off stage, but it really sounded like she was actually singing, because I couldn't imagine that she would have recorded something this awful and they decided for her to play it. She looked like she was really lacking in energy, and there was a whole music number, there was background dancers and everything, but she looked so dead on the inside, and her singing was just kind of really dulled, speaking slightly rhythmically. She wasn't rapping, she wasn't talking singing like she does in her songs. It was just really bad. It was genuinely bad, and the kids didn't like it either. There was noticeably less cheering during her song, less kids screaming, less kids dancing from what I could see. There were some, of course, and, applause afterwards and everything, but it was noticeably less than everything else that came before and after. That was definitely a bad decision. That is the worst part about the show. Yeah, I don't understand why they picked her to do that. Another commercial they're promoting. It's actually on right now, and I'm skipping it because I don't want to see it. After the award show, they had a preview of the new Monsters vs. Aliens series, and they showed a commercial for it. I knew it. I knew this would happen. Not the Monsters vs. Alien thing. I knew that would happen because, I looked it up. It's in one of my old Nick rants. But, I knew when this show came around, they would promote the Blob thing like nobody's business. Let's play up this one character and ignore all other aspects of the show and play up this one character because, hey, it tested well with children. Woo. I don't know, it could even be a good show. I'm just so sick of Nickelodeon not having good ideas, original ideas. Okay, so Johnny Depp won something. Johnny Depp, he dresses like a hippie, man. He was in this really weird getup, really weird hat. I guess, again, I'm one to speak. But, he had, 3 layers shirt, dressed really weird. And he spoke really seriously. For as weirdly as he was dressed, too, he was like, I'm so happy to be here. I'm really proud of all the work, that went into the movie that I was in. I couldn't do it without you guys. He just spoke as if he was at some sort of really prestigious place, and it's just everyone else is just thank you guys, Nickelodeon's awesome. I don't know. He took it really seriously. Favorite cartoon category. If I had my way, this would be the number one thing. Because when I was a kid, my number one thing was cartoons. Even now, you could argue that one of my favorite things is cartoons. And that's what Nickelodeon is at its heart. Yeah, it's live action shows too, but cartoons. They kind of brushed it off. They didn't have actual celebrities. They had the host of the show. I guess he's an actual celebrity. But they had him announcing it. And for movies and stuff, they had all these cool montages of Like, they didn't just take a clip of the movie. They had a clip of the movie, and then they had, like, the star, like, they did a split-screen thing. Really cool stuff. You know what they did for favorite cartoon? It was, like, SpongeBob SquarePants, and it showed a picture of SpongeBob. One picture. You know, Phineas and Ferb showed a logo. One logo. Fairly Odd Parents showed a picture that was from, like, the art model made it look like it was from, like, the second season. Poof wasn't there, either. Yeah, it looked really bad. It was just kind of like, you know, when it comes to awesome movies, yeah, we'll edit together some really awesome montages, but when it comes to cartoons, namely, they're mostly their own cartoons, too. I mean, it was Phineas and Ferb and Tom and Jerry, but, you know, two of them were their own show. They could have at least spliced together something cool for their own shows. I'm surprised they didn't have, like, a 20-minute SpongeBob montage. But, yeah, that just seemed like they didn't care. And that you know, that's problematic to me. There was a weird sketch too towards the end of it where one of the celebrities giving out an award was some sort of gymnast, and the host was like, "Hey, you know, come over here. I have this horse thing. I think it's like the bar. Or it's like this. I don't know. It looks like a. I don't know how to describe it. It's the thing with handles on it, and the gymnasts do the things around them. I think he called it a horse or something, but, you know, he was like, "Hey, you're a gymnast, come over here, I promise the kids you do some stunts," and she was like, "No, I'm in a nice dress," and it was funny because you could hear the kids screaming, "Take off your shoes!" I'm like, that is so sweet, like, that, I was expecting something so horrible from that sentence, but, she's like, you know, I'm gonna, you know, I'm not prepared to do this, and he's like, "Oh, come on." I don't know if that part, I think that part was scripted. I don't know. It really did look like he was just like, "Hey, do some stunts. You know, I know you're in a dress and everything, but do some stunts." So she was like, "No," and he's like, you know, this horse thing, you know, I was really hoping we could do something with this. You know, the sketch is really awkward. You know, he's just kind of like, "Yeah, you know, what's that? You have a stomach ache?" And he puts his head down to it, and he's like, "Oh, okay, And then he lifts up the tail, because the thing has a tail for some reason, and a bunch of slime comes out the butt, and there is fart noises. Like, that's the end of your awkward, stupid sketch, is this thing crapping out slime onto the kids in the front. Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit awkward. I guess it was funny, too, and it, you know, whatever. The cheesy sketches are what these award shows are made of, really. Nick Cannon was funny. Nick Cannon showed up. He was like the color commentator with some kid. You know, he shows up at the end in a sumo suit. The guy is great. Like, you know, he might be on all sorts of different networks promoting all sorts of different things, but the dude has a lot of energy. And he just seems like a really cool guy with some good comedic timing. And then my camera cut off the ending for some reason. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little review. Overall, thumbs up, Kids' Choice Awards 2013. Did a good job. Very solid program. Very much of what I remember of it as a kid was still here, which is great. Good to see that Nickelodeon is keeping one tradition alive and well, at least. And with that, join me next time when I talk about the results. And that'll definitely be interesting. Bye, guys, rules.